Attention passionate Montreal, Canadiens fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the Atlantic Division and it could shake up the entire conference. We're talking about a direct impact on Montreal Canadiens' path to another Stanley Cup run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Montreal Canadiens fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Montreal Canadiens fans. Let's get to the news. Alright, Canadiens fans, hold on tight because today we have some significant updates that could change the landscape of the NHL, especially for our beloved Montreal Canadiens. As many of you have already heard, the team has pulled off a notable trade that's already creating buzz across the league. It's one of those moves that might seem small on the surface, but could have ripple effects that last for seasons to come. So, let's unpack everything, analyze what this means for the Canadiens, and look ahead to what this could spell for our team's future. First, to set the scene, the Canadiens recently traded away one of their young prospects, Logan Mailloux, who's been a player with quite a bit of potential, but also some questions surrounding his development and fit within the organization. Mailloux, remember, was a second-round pick, a talented defenseman known for his skating and offensive upside. But with the emergence of other defensive prospects like Lane Hutson and David Reinbacher, plus the acquisition of Noah Dobson, the Canadiens' blue line is getting pretty crowded and talented. So the team decided it was time to make a move, and they sent Mailloux to the St. Louis Blues in exchange for a promising forward, Zachary Bolduc. Now, this is where things get interesting. Zachary Bolduc, a 22-year-old center from Trois-Rivières, has been making waves since entering the NHL. Last season, he spent most of his time with the Blues, playing in 72 regular season games and tallying an impressive 19 goals along with 17 assists. That's a solid stat line for a young player trying to find his footing in the league. And if we look at his entire NHL career so far, he's played in 97 games, with 24 goals and 21 assists, showing that he has the scoring instinct and the ability to contribute offensively. Bolduc was actually a first-round pick, selected 17th overall in the 2021 NHL draft by the Blues. Interestingly enough, that same draft saw the Canadiens selecting Logan Mailloux at 31st overall. So in a way, this trade feels like a swap of two young talents from that draft class, each with their own paths and potential. Bolduc has already shown he can handle the NHL pace, and his style complements the Canadiens' current needs, especially in terms of depth at the center position. For the Canadiens, this trade is not just about swapping prospects. It's a strategic move that addresses several organizational needs. As we know, Christian Dvorak's contract situation is uncertain, with the possibility that he might leave via free agency. Losing him would leave a gap at the center position, and Bolduc might be the type of player who can step in and fill that void, at least as a depth option if not immediately a top-six guy. Additionally, Joel Armia is also a free agent, and with Emil Heineman traded away in the Dobson deal, the Canadiens are looking to bolster their forward group, especially those who can bring energy and scoring. On the defensive side, trading Mailloux might seem like a loss, but in reality, it's a move that gives the team more clarity and flexibility. Mailloux, while promising, has yet to establish himself fully at the NHL level, and with the defensive prospects emerging so strongly, the Canadiens are prioritizing player development and organizational depth over holding onto assets that might not fit into their future plans. Plus, with Lane Hutson's impressive development and Reinbacher's steady progress, the blue line is set to become a real strength in the coming seasons. What does this mean for the Canadiens' overall strategy? Well, it's clear that the team is focusing on building a more balanced roster, one that mixes young talent with experienced players, and one that can compete both now and in the future. Bolduc's addition gives the team some much-needed offensive punch, especially from the center position, which has been a bit of a question mark lately. It's also a move that signals the Canadiens' commitment to developing their younger players and giving them opportunities to prove themselves in the NHL. Let's not forget, this trade also fits into the bigger picture of the Atlantic Division, which is arguably one of the most competitive in the entire league. Teams like the Boston Bruins, Florida Panthers, Tampa Bay Lightning, and Toronto Maple Leafs are all loaded with talent and playoff experience. The Canadiens are aware of that, and they're making moves to stay competitive. Bolduc's scoring ability and speed could help Montreal stay in the mix, especially as they continue to develop their core group of players like Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki, and Juraj Slavkovsky. And speaking of those key players, the Canadiens have been building around them, and the addition of Bolduc adds a new dimension to that core. Imagine a line with Caulfield and Bolduc working together: speed, skill, and goal-scoring potential. That's exactly the kind of offensive firepower Montreal needs to challenge the division's top teams. Plus, with the improvements in defensive prospects, the Canadiens are shaping up to be a more well-rounded team that can push for a playoff spot and maybe even go further. Now, let's talk about the impact of this trade on the team's long-term outlook. Montreal has been in a bit of a rebuild phase over the past couple of seasons, trying to find that winning formula and develop their young talent. This trade signals that they're still in that process, but are also looking to add immediate value. Bolduc's NHL experience and scoring ability give the Canadiens a player who can contribute right away, while Maillou's departure clears the way for younger defensemen to step up and take on bigger roles. It's also worth mentioning that this move might set the stage for more transactions in the coming months. The Canadiens are always looking to improve, whether through trades, draft picks, or player development. Bolduc's arrival could be a catalyst for other moves, especially as they evaluate their roster and plan for the next season. They are clearly aiming to be competitive sooner rather than later, and with Bolduc's skill set, that goal seems more attainable. For the fans, this is a move that adds excitement. Bolduc has the potential to become a fan favorite with his scoring touch and energy. It's always thrilling to see young players step into the spotlight and make an impact, and Montreal is no stranger to nurturing talent that can lead them to glory. Think about the players who have come through the Canadiens system and become legends. This is how stories begin, with a promising young player getting the chance to shine on a big stage. Of course, it's also important to keep perspective. Bolduc is still early in his career, and there will be ups and downs along the way. But the fact that the Canadiens see enough promise in him to trade away a prospect like Mailloux speaks volumes about their faith in his potential. It's a gamble that could pay off big time if Bolduc continues to develop and finds his scoring touch at the NHL level. And let's not forget, this trade also reflects the Canadiens' broader philosophy: building through smart acquisitions, developing their young core, and staying flexible to adapt to the unpredictable nature of the NHL. They're not just chasing short-term success, they're laying down foundations for a future that could see them competing at the highest level once again. So, as we look ahead, what can fans expect? Well, Bolduc's arrival will likely energize the team and the fanbase. He's a player with the kind of offensive instincts that can turn games around. If he continues to develop and adapts well to Montreal's system, we might be watching a player who becomes a key piece of the Canadiens' puzzle for years to come. And with the team's young core getting stronger and more experienced, the future looks promising, even if there are still some hurdles to clear. In conclusion, this trade between Montreal and St. Louis is more than just a swap of prospects. It's a calculated move that speaks to the Canadiens' strategy of balancing youth with experience, offense with defense, and immediate needs with long-term planning. It's an exciting time to be a Canadiens fan because every move they make seems to be with a clear vision of returning to greatness. The development of Bolduc, the rise of their prospects, and the strategic roster adjustments all point toward a team that's ready to fight for a playoff spot and maybe, just maybe, make a deep run next season. And now, Montreal Canadiens fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this trade? Do you think Bolduc will be the player who helps lead the Canadiens back to the playoffs? Or do you see some potential pitfalls? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Canadiens. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, more insights, and all the latest news on our team. So stay tuned, keep the passion alive, and as always, go Habs go!